Hey guys, welcome back to the Anime Collector. For today's tip, we're going to be talking about cataloging your DVDs and why it's so important. Now, for this week and next week, we're going to be talking about some codes that I embed into my bookcase so that when I walk into the room, I can sort of tell certain things about my DVDs without having to look that hard. Now, the code we're going to be talking about today is what it means when a DVD is sitting outside of the bookcase on the shelf on its side. Now, what this means is that I have not granted these DVDs access to join the collection yet. And why I haven't granted them is because it has to go through a couple of steps before they've gained admittance. One of the most important steps, which we've already talked about, is making sure that the rest of the collection is actually safe when these DVDs go in. Now, in this case, they're all sort of in art boxes, but I would do this regardless. So, one of the most important things is to make sure that there's not any stickers that need to be removed. So that would be one thing I'd need to take care of. And then, of course, the next thing, which is what we're going to be talking about today, is that these DVDs need to be cataloged. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to get things set up, and I will walk you guys through the programs that I use in order to catalog DVDs and the system that I use in order to make it incredibly simple so that I always know when I'm shopping which DVDs I'm looking for and which DVDs I already own, so I don't end up picking up duplicates of the same thing over and over again. Alright you guys, here I am with my laptop. We got the DVDs we're going to be scanning for this demonstration. So I've got the program open. It's a program called Movie Collector, and it is the desktop equivalent to a program that I use, an app on my phone called CLZ Movies. The program is from a website called collectors.com. And of course there will be links in the description for all of this stuff. And I wanted to show you guys sort of the interface of the cataloging program and sort of how it can be utilized the best. So here's what it looks like. And as you can see, I've got basically everything that I've got in here. I mean, legitimately I should have everything in here because I took the time to scan everything. And my first tip, if you're going to be scanning stuff in and you have a big collection like mine, is start with, if you've got it in a bookcase, start with Z and work your way backwards. Because that way, every time you open up the program, the most recent thing you scanned in will be at the top because it's going in reverse alphabetical order, and it's just a little quick time saver. I mean, obviously you can sort these in reverse, but it puts you down here, and it's just, you would still have to jump up here towards whatever your last thing was. So anyway, that is a little tip there, but I want to show you guys how this thing works and also how I sort of handle things. So here's a good example here, is Oh My Goddess. So here you can see that I've got it here as Oh My Goddess space dash space 1 colon space, and then I've got the subtitle. And this is something that I do with all DVDs. It's just the syntax that I use when I'm denoting if something's limited edition or whatever. And I've just got a certain way of doing things. Like for instance, here you can see that I've got Air Gear Volume 1, and I actually have a signed copy by Chris Patton, who voiced Iki on the show. So, you know, I've just got some of that stuff sort of noted there, and here you can see on the side here it shows you what who was like in the show, and these are all things that I could edit myself and put in. But for most shows, like there's so many shows that I have, it takes way too long to go in for everything. And for most shows, like a lot of shows, what I would do is under the images for the poster, if I have the art box, I'll put the art box there. But I stopped doing that halfway through because I needed to get this ready for starting the channel in January, and I haven't gone through and fixed it up yet. So some of the shows that I do in fact have an art box for do not have the picture of the art box down there like it should. Looks like, and here you can even see that there's in this case we've even got the episodes with little synopsis and stuff on them, and then there's also a little eyeball here that lets me tell the program if I have watched this DVD or not. Now, I actually do not use that to tell me whether or not I've watched it. I use that to tell me whether or not I've reviewed it, so that I can actually use this program to sort through DVDs that I have not yet reviewed, and it makes it a little bit easier on me to to know right off the bat. Like, so maybe, I don't know, a couple of years from now when I've already reviewed a couple hundred things, this will be a lot easier for me in the future to figure out things right off the bat and just weed out the shows that I've already reviewed. Now, as far as Paradise Kiss goes, let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to scan these in. Now, there is, like I said, there's the CLZ Movies app, but I actually don't like using that as the scanner. There's another program called CLZ Bari, and we're going to open that right now. So here's the CLZ Bari app, and I actually need to, come to think of it, I need to go back and click this button to add new shows. And it says already that I'm active, but if you weren't active, you'd want to go ahead and connect to your phone. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the app and I'm going to hit the scan button, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scan through all the DVDs. So we've got volume, what is that? Volume 3, volume 2, and volume 1. There we go. And then, if you look at the screen over here, it brought in these three things. So I'm going to hit Search All, and this is actually a good thing that this has happened because I can talk about it. It says it has 9 results. That means you have to go through and pick which one's correct. And usually they put the most accurate one on the top, and that's 99% of the time the one I end up going with because it's usually the one that's actually correct. You can see that this one denotes that it's from Pioneer. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one because that's correct. Even though these are technically released by Geneon, for some reason a lot of the tagged things that are from Geneon come up as Pioneer because Pioneer and Geneon are technically the same company. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one here and this one here. And now this is this is an actual tip. Like, this is something I suggest that you do because it's made life easier on me. I do not keep anything in my wish list that I don't own. You know, I never use the wish list to just remember things that I want to get. So what I'll do is when I'm scanning this stuff in, I will add it to the wish list so it's easier for me to edit, especially when I'm adding in a huge amount of stuff. I don't want to have to search through. I don't want to have to search through the collection for it, because let's say that, like I said, if you wanted to do things backwards from Z. If a show, like let's say that I have Fighting Spirit under H, because I think of the show, when I'm trying to look for the show, I would think under Hajime no Ippo. Then if I pick it up, and it's technically, I'm scanning it with a bunch of shows that start with H, it's still going to probably be scanned in as F. And I have had almost every Miyazaki film that I scanned ended up coming in under its Japanese title. So there's just something that you should be aware of, that it could get lost, and if your collection's really, really big like mine, you'll have to spend hours looking for it. So what I do is I always scan stuff directly into the wish list so that I can, this is sort of like the same way that I put things on the bookcase sideways. This is like the digital version of that. I put it into the wish list so that I can fix the tags before I actually put it into the digital collection. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to right click on this volume and I'm going to hit Edit Movie. And then the first thing I'm going to do, obviously, is I'm going to take out the word Pioneer here. And now I've got it, so it says Paradise Kiss space dash space 1, and that's it. And then I'm going to hit this button. Now, first of all, what this button is the one up here. Let's talk about this. So if I was to type this in, if I was lazy and I typed all this in lowercase, if I was to click this, it would fix it so that the first letter of each word would be capital, like, unless the word was the word the, or just any number of words that I've got in this thing that I tell it to basically not capitalize in that specific case. And then I'm going to use this button over here. This will take it, like, for instance, if the show is actually called The Paradise Kiss, I would click this button and it says Sort Title Paradise Kiss. That means that it's going to be under P instead of under THE. So obviously the show is not called The Paradise Kiss, so I'm just going to go ahead and switch that back. And then the series here, I'm going to put in Paradise Kiss, and then Studio Pioneer. And there's all sorts of things I can put in here if I wanted to go through it. And one of the things I definitely want to put in is the covers. So I'm going to hit Find Cover Online. And normally I would use a much higher quality version of it than this, but we're going to go ahead and use this image, and I'll take care of this later. I don't want to waste time on the camera, on the video doing this. So for this one, I'm going to just do the same thing real quick. And then in this case, I'm just going to hit Next. Actually, first I'm going to put Paradise Kiss right there. And then I'm going to hit next, and it's going to jump me down to this one. So I'm going to switch this one over to, say, -3. There we go. And Paradise Kiss. And I'm going to hit OK. Now I know that these two do not have, they don't have cover images. And by the way, you can also put in back covers for these things as well. But I'm not going to worry about those now because that's just going to be extra time for this video. So I'm just going to go ahead and select these now that I know that they meet the requirements that I want them to have in that they are titled correctly, so it's going to be easy for me to find. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit Move to Collection. Alright, now the next step I want to talk about is why this actually is worth it to do. I mean, why spend all this time just categorizing things like this when you're not actually going to use that information? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on this button. I'm going to tell it to not do that, just to not waste time for this. And I'm going to tell it to upload to the CLZ cloud. Give it a second. Alright, now I've got everything checked. I'm going to go ahead and hit upload. Alright, so it says changes processed successfully. And then it's going to ask me, it's likely going to ask me, yeah, to upload the covers. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK, upload to the cloud, and covers uploaded successfully. So then we'd start up the app, and we'd go down here and we'd click on this button to download from the CLZ cloud. And now this actually takes a little bit of time, which is why I don't like to scan things in through the phone and then edit them by uploading them to the cloud and then downloading them to the program on the laptop and then editing them there and then uploading from there and then downloading back down to the phone. It takes too much time. Whereas the CLZ Bari app, that barcode reader, is just way faster to load it directly into the computer. So now I'm going to go ahead. You can see Paradise Kiss 1, 2, and 3 is loaded up. I'm going to hit download from the CLZ cloud. Yes, let it update. Synchronization done. Downloading covers. Perfect. So now if I happen to be in a store and I saw Paradise Kiss and I was thinking to myself, that show sounds familiar. I think my wife has read the manga. Then I'll just go ahead and think I'd like to get it for her if she hasn't seen it, or even if she has seen it. If I don't have it, I'd like to have it in the collection. So I'm going to type in Paradise, going to search, and I see, okay, Loop on the Third, Volume 4, Thieves Paradise, Neoranga, Volume 6, Search for Paradise. Oh, cool, I do actually have it. Obviously, I don't have the covers here like we talked about, but we got Paradise Kiss 1, 2, and 3. And another way that this is very helpful is if the covers are different than the ones you're looking at, you can see that the one you have looks like one thing and the one you're looking at, and let's say it's a movie or something, you'll know right away that it's different if it doesn't look the same. But also keep in mind that some things are reversible, so you want to be careful that you don't accidentally pick something up twice just because the used version you were looking at had the reversible cover. So this is why this is so helpful, because it makes sure that we are utilizing our money in a very effective way. You could also probably keep notes in here, like let's say that this volume was damaged or whatever and you wanted to potentially rebuy it. Maybe there's some sun damage on it or something. And of course where this comes in very, very handy is in situations where, like let's say with Urusei Yatsura, which is 50 volumes long. When you've got just volume 1, it's really easy to remember that the volumes you need to still get are 2 through 50. But let's say that you've got 1, 17, 32, you know, once you have a certain number, let's say that you only need 4 volumes left out of 50, that's really hard to remember. Especially when you've also got to remember all the other shows that you're collecting and remembering exactly which seasons you don't have yet. So this makes this a lot easier. It takes away all the stress, basically, of collecting. And that's why I wanted to share it with you guys today. So it does take a lot of time if you've got a large collection, but that's the tip for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's pop the little app icon up on the shelf. If you guys want to check out this week's review of Zappon, here's a link to it. If you want to support me, you can do so by leaving a like, giving me a comment, subscribing, and of course sharing this with your friends. Anyway guys, I'll see you next week for another tip and another review. Take it easy.